we meet again. I'm still here, working my way through my book. I thank you for continuing to listen to my story and give me this opportunity to share. All right. This is the book about my life. I continuously call it my biblical entanglement. Haven't quite got to why I say that, but you know, I like to break us in slowly but surely into my crazy world. It's easier that way, really, to work through life in bits and pieces, right? Okay, we're at chapter 12. It's called Home Sweet Home. My family lives in this beautiful place, a century-year-old home that has actually been on 4 different homesteads miles apart. Of course, nowadays, people move houses all the time. However, the first 3 locations our house called home were all prior to the 1970s, meaning some of these moves were even accomplished by horse and buggy. They're pretty phenomenal, really. No small feat for a 2.5-story structure made of lath and plaster. Despite its grand history, the actual house is neither grand nor large. It is a simple old farmhouse that has stood the test of time and continued to shelter family after family and renovation after renovation for 100 years. Well over 100 years. The few years just prior to my family purchasing the house was the only time this house stood empty. Otherwise, it has always provided a loving home. My husband and I moved the abandoned house in 2003 and have spent many years restoring and refurbishing inside and out. It has taken a hell of a lot of sweat, hard work, frustration, and dedication to bring life back into this old nostalgic house. Throughout our work, there was always evidence of angelic support during this large undertaking. However, sometimes it took a bit of time to recognize it as such. One time in particular, I remember working on the wiring. Jack of all trades here. I was working on the wiring for the upstairs hallway. And I had run the wires 3 times and had failed miserably every single time. Each attempt ended in despair, whether the wires were too short or structural obstacles were in the way or the wires were accidentally drilled through. Oops. The results were always disastrous. When I had reached my final breaking point, there's been many, but anyways, in this particular occasion, when I reached my final breaking point, I called my husband for assistance, and we both stood there in the hallway looking up at our troubles. It was then that we realized the area should have been bypassed altogether, so that we could make room for a future access door to the attic. If I had managed to wire that area, we would have surely regretted it down the road. Of course, I have no doubt my guides always knew our future plans for the attic and were creatively trying to get my attention to avoid running the wires in the first place. That was not the last time the spirit world pitched in. Like most renovations, a lot of photos were snapped along the way charting our progress. We had 2 areas of our house that we found most challenging. at the time, I guess. There's been a lot of challenges here, but anyways, at the time it was the back entry and the porch. The scale of the development was large and a little out of scope and the comfort zone for mere weekend renovators. Sorry if I mumble. Looking back on the photos, there are orbs of light that appear in each of these locations. I believe our spirit guides hung around very closely. Thank goodness. They hung around very closely at those locations during those tough times to help us through. And of course, we did make it through each project step by step until that old abandoned farmhouse became our home. Once the house was finished, our interactions with the spirit world did not stop there. The next encounter occurred in the middle of a winter night while I was sleeping. While deep in that slumber, I was dreaming I was wandering downstairs in the middle of the night to fetch a glass of water. When I arrived in our newly renovated kitchen, I was greeted by the unexpected presence of 3 adult spirits sitting at my kitchen table. Startled? Yes, startled. I asked, "What are they doing in my house?" And they responded they had found the front door wide open and decided to come on in and see our renovations and see how it was coming along. They even complimented my kitchen, saying they loved what the family had done to the place. We didn't even introduce ourselves, but instinctively I knew they were the folks who had lived in the house prior to us. In the morning, I headed down to the kitchen as I mulled over the dream from the night before and its possible meanings. The vision had felt so real, like I had really traveled down the stairs to talk to the visitors in the night. And my thoughts were quickly interrupted as I rounded the stairs and stopped in my tracks. What do you think I found? The front door. The front door to our house was standing wide open, just as the spirits had indicated. Now, upon closer investigation, I realized the door had likely not latched properly, and the windy night had blown the door wide open. At the time, I still did not doubt for 1 minute. The friendly past occupants of our house had come for a visit, and my dream was a mere glimpse to the events. It was later, when I also became more aware of dream walking, that I realized my own spirit would have also traveled down those stairs that night to greet our guests and converse about our renovation. After all, what kind of a hostess would I be if I had not? The building of our home has been an integral part of my journey. It has taught me to dream big, move into the unknown, and to push myself beyond what I originally thought was possible. In that determination and blind faith, we created our home. So why do I speak of a home in a book about healing? The energy in each person's home is different. It is a collection of their belongings, hopes, dreams, and experiences. A home can be healing if it is where your heart is. Some homes have a lot of heart. Those are the ones you feel instantly comforted by the minute you walk in the door. Have you ever experienced this phenomenon? It is like the energy rushes to greet you with a big, welcoming hug. I feel this divine energetic hug from the heavens every time I enter my home. Almost. Come on, I'm only human. But I do feel it every time I enter my home. The atmosphere is relaxing, calming, inviting, and serene. I can literally feel the warmth and love that comes from spirit within my home. As you become more aware of the spirit world, you will notice this feeling is always present in Mother Nature. However, when you open your heart and invite spirit into your home, you can also feel this divine energy from within. Now, I realize I'm biased towards my home, but others feel it too. People that have visited our place always express their joy and good feelings received from our home. Their health and spirits have improved. They feel safe and comfortable, and many report not even wanting to leave. I believe this surge of energy is a combination of our history of our home, the love that has been poured into it for generations, the open hearts of those who reside within, and our welcoming attitude towards spirit. Spirit's been invited into our lives and into our home, and the feeling of this divine love is literally tangible. It's tangible. There has also been one other house in my lifetime so far that conjured up these similar feelings, and it was my Grandma Annie's home. There was always an overwhelming sense of love and comfort and security just by being there. It felt like a mixture of homemade cookies, hugs, and support all at once, even when sometimes there physically was none. In fact, whenever it was time to leave my grandma's place, my dad had to carry me out, kicking and screaming. As a child, I couldn't even explain the attraction, but there was so much warmth and love in that house that I never wanted to leave. I could have just stayed there forever, soaking up the good vibes and energy. Looking back, I believe the energy of that house was achieved in a similar fashion to mine. An open heart, mind, and soul to those who reside within. Okay, activating your SOULworks. Creating a welcoming home does not take a lot of money or material possessions. It takes heart. It takes heart. Regardless of whether you reside in a temporary lodging or your dream home, you have the ability to increase the vibrational energy and make your space feel comfortable and welcoming. To do so will help improve your own well-being and the experiences of all who enter. Living within good energy will improve your health and keep you in a more positive state of mind. When you consider your home from this perspective, you should really not neglect to spend time and effort to improve your dwelling. And the same could be said for us dwelling on the earth. Even on a small scale, you can see the logic and effects behind positive energies within space. Walking into a messy and cluttered room can leave you feeling overwhelmed. Entering a space where negativity abounds will dramatically decrease your own energy and positive outlook. If you continually feel disappointed or frustrated with your own living space, this energy will also flow into your life and those around you. On the flip side, and there is a flip side, creating a positive and pleasing space will enhance your world and the world around you. Your move. Decorate from the heart. Look at my wall of paintings. They're literally taped to the wall, and they're paint by numbers that I did while working through some tough times. Simple. Decorate from the heart. Fill your home with things you love. Do not worry so much about whether your belongings follow the current trends or fashions. Instead, focus on what truly makes your heart sing. Maybe it's a great bargain you found at a garage sale. Perhaps you have old furnishings or memorabilia from departed loved ones. Or, potentially, it is a collection of artifacts you gathered along your travels. Find the items and furnishings you are really drawn to and bring them into your house. Assuming it's, legal. What will add true interest and warmth to your home is a collection of valued items. Not valuable in monetary terms, but valuable to your heart. Make these changes to your home and then notice the shift of energy. Okay. Feel the love. Feel the love. Experiment with energy. Walk into different areas of your home and notice in the way you feel. Simple. Just notice. Which rooms bring you the most comfort? The art of Feng Shui is all about creating positive energy and affecting the vibrations under your roof. However, you don't have to be an expert in the art of Feng Shui to notice the feel of a room. Simply hold the intention to notice. Expand your scope by taking your experiment on the road. Feel the difference in energy when you enter someone else's home, your place of work, a public building, outdoors, or a spiritual dwelling. What space provides the most positive feelings? Can you feel the divine empowerment? Does the space give you the impression God is reaching down from the heavens and hugging you at that very moment? If so, what elements are present within this location that might be missing from others? Welcome, Spirit. To truly raise the vibration of a home, welcome Spirit into your dwelling with open arms. Ask your angels to always be present within the walls of your place and also outside your home at all times. Always hold the intention to keep the energy within your home, place of work, any building you frequent positive and full of light. Envision the universal light, accessible to anybody, coming down from the heavens and surrounding your home and possessions. Do not be afraid to interact with these beings of light. Treat them as the valued guests that they are. Consciously create. Always take the time to visualize successfully attaining your goals despite your current conditions. Perhaps you do not currently reside in the home of your dreams, or you have a very large and overwhelming renovation project to tackle. Stay focused and know you can achieve your desired outcomes. For renovations, work, or anything for that matter, work on one project and step at a time while requesting the help from your guides. If you are searching for the perfect home, keep an open mind. Listen to your inner wisdom and keep an eye for the signs. Also, do not feel compelled to beat the Jones. Understand that a small home can have more heart and positive energies than even the grandest of mansions. Consciously focus on attaining a feel-good home, regardless of size, location, or possessions held within. Health and home. Start noticing where you want to be when you feel sick. Is it at home on the couch, curled up in your own bed, back at your folks' place, over at grandma's house, perhaps even at work? When our spirits are down, we will intuitively move to a location that is comfortable and provides security. also start to notice if your health improves or declines in certain locations. Become sensitive to the changes. Your body, Become sensitive to the changes in your body by paying attention to your responses. If no place provides comfort, strive to make a change. Your health depends on it. Thank you for joining me in my home, and thank you for letting me continue to tell my story. Of course, I don't need your permission, but thank you for making me feel safe enough to do so.